Welcome to Hauntcore Vault. If you are ready for horror tales, you are in the right place. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to know where are you from and what time you are watching. Let's begin. I'm 25 now. This happened when I was 17, but it still lives in the back of my mind like a splinter I can't reach. I grew up in upstate New York, near the Catskills. My hometown's small and quiet, the kind of place where people still wave from their porches, and the biggest drama is when someone's dog gets loose and knocks over someone's trash cans. I wasn't a particularly rebellious teen, but I was curious, restless. I think that's why I said yes when Eli invited me to his cousin's bonfire in the woods just past Alder Creek. It wasn't a party, just four of us. Eli, his cousin Noah, this girl named June, and me. The four of us used to hang out all the time back then. Eli and I had something that wasn't quite dating, but definitely wasn't not, and we'd gotten into the habit of exploring abandoned places. An old drive-in, an overgrown train station, even a half-buried greenhouse that still had rusted gardening tools inside. But that night, that was different. We parked on the side of a service road and hiked into the woods with flashlights and gear. I remember the air felt weird, heavier somehow, and even though it was early October, it was warmer than it should have been. Humid, almost. We made a fire in a clearing near the ruins of an old stone cabin. Noah swore it was used for bootlegging in the 1920s, but I've never found any proof of that since. It looked ancient, almost forgotten by time. Just a stone foundation with part of a chimney still standing, moss climbing up one side like it was trying to pull it back into the earth. Everything was fine for a while. We joked, shared drinks, and told scary stories. I remember June was telling some dumb story about a ghost hitchhiker when Eli suddenly got quiet. He was looking past the fire, toward the trees. "Do you see that?" he asked. At first, I thought he was messing with us, but then Noah stood up too, squinting. There was a light. Not flashlight light, not firelight. It was pale and bluish, flickering like candlelight, but colder. It was maybe 20 feet away, moving slowly between the trees, and it shouldn't have been there. None of us brought lanterns or anything like that. Eli, of course, wanted to follow it, and of course, like the idiot I was, I followed him. June stayed behind. Noah hesitated, then came too. I wish I could say I remember everything that happened after that, but honestly, it all kind of blurs together like it was a dream I wasn't supposed to remember. But I'll tell you what I do remember. The light wasn't floating. It was attached to someone, or something. I could see the shape of a person holding it, a figure, tall and still, dressed in clothes that didn't move with the wind. They had no face. Or maybe they did, and I just couldn't see it. It was like the space where a face should have been was blurred out like static on an old TV screen. The forest got quiet. No crickets, no wind. Not even our footsteps made sound anymore. And then the figure turned. It didn't move. It just shifted. 1 second it was facing away, the next it was facing us, and I felt wrong. Like my skin didn't fit. Like something was pressing against the inside of my skull. Eli whispered, "Run!" But when I turned around, the woods weren't the same. The trees looked wrong, too tall, too close, bending in unnatural ways. The fire we came from was gone. Even the air smelled different. Sweet and metallic, like old pennies. We ran anyway. Noah tripped and sliced his palm open on something sharp. I remember him screaming, but the sound was muffled, like he was yelling through water. Somehow, we found the cabin again, only it wasn't ruins anymore. It was whole. Windows glowing with warm yellow light. Smoke curling from the chimney. I could hear someone inside, humming. A woman's voice, soft and low and terribly familiar. Like something from a dream I'd had 100 times, but could never fully remember. The door creaked open, and I swear to God, I saw myself standing there. Same face, same clothes, but her eyes were wrong. Completely black, with no whites, like the night sky without stars. An older me. She smiled. Eli grabbed my hand and we ran again. This time, the forest let us out. Just like that. We stumbled onto the road, panting, shaking, bleeding. June was there, crying hysterically. She said we'd only been gone 10 minutes, but my phone said it was 3:17 a.m. We went into the woods at 10:42 p.m. Noah wouldn't talk about what he saw. He moved to Florida the next week, and we haven't spoken since. Eli and I drifted apart after that. He stopped answering texts, deleted all his social media. Sometimes I wonder if he remembers what happened, or if whatever we saw took that from him. As for me, I still dream of the cabin, the humming, the light in the trees, and the woman who looked like an older me, standing in a doorway that didn't exist.
I wish I could leave it buried. I wish I had left it buried. But yesterday, and I'm unsure of why, I had a compulsion to go back to those woods. I didn't plan it. I swear I didn't. I was driving to visit my mom. She still lives near Alder Creek, and I passed the old service road. It was overgrown, barely noticeable. But the second I saw it, I felt it. That pull in my chest, like something inside me remembered before I did. Like something whispered, "You left something behind." I kept driving. I told myself no. I even turned up the radio to drown it out. But half a mile later, I pulled over. I sat there for 10 minutes, hand frozen on the wheel, staring at nothing. Then I turned around. There's no reason I should have found the path again. So many years had passed, but my feet knew where to go before my brain caught up. The forest was different in daylight, less like a crypt, more like a memory. But the deeper I went, the stranger it got. The trees grew too close again. The air felt thick. And though it was nearly noon, I started seeing my breath. I told myself I'd just go as far as the ruins. But when I reached the clearing, they weren't ruins anymore. I swear to you, I'm not lying. The cabin was whole again. Same as that night. Same glowing windows. Same lazy curl of smoke from the chimney. Same impossible wrongness humming in the air. Only this time, the door wasn't open. It was waiting. I should have left. Every instinct screamed, "Run!" But my legs moved on their own, step by step, like I was sinking into a dream. The closer I got, the more everything warped. Sounds muffled, colors too bright, like the forest was holding its breath. Then I heard the humming. Same tune as before. Soft, slow, wrong in a way I couldn't name. My hand reached for the doorknob. It turned before I touched it. And standing there, in the doorway, was me. Again, but younger, from that night. Her hair was longer, her eyes still black, still empty. But this time, she looked tired. She didn't smile. She just stepped aside. And God, I wish I could say I ran. I didn't. I went inside. The cabin was alive. I don't know how else to describe it. The walls pulsed faintly, like they were breathing. The floor creaked, like it was whispering beneath my feet. There were candles everywhere, but they didn't flicker. They glowed with that same cold blue light from the woods. There was a table in the center of the room. On it sat 4 objects: a cracked flashlight, a strip of red flannel, torn and stained, a rusted gardening trowel, and a phone. My phone, the one I thought was just in my hand. It buzzed once. The screen lit up. 1 new voicemail. I pressed play. Static. Then,
A voice. Mine. You shouldn't have come back. And silence. Then, it's waking up. The message ended. I turned to leave, but the doorway was gone. Just wall. I swear it hadn't been there a second ago. I pounded on it, but it didn't give. The candles flickered. Something shifted behind me. And then I saw her again. The other me, sitting in the corner, knees to her chest, humming. She stopped when I looked at her. "You're not supposed to remember yet," she said. "You're too early." I asked her what that meant. She shook her head. "You pulled the thread." Then she reached into her pocket and held something out to me. It was a Polaroid, faded, warped by time. It showed the 4 of us, me, Eli, Noah, and June, standing in the clearing, but there was a 5th figure behind us, half hidden in the trees, tall, faceless, watching. "I thought it wanted you," she whispered, "but it was me." Suddenly the room groaned, the walls pulsed harder, the air thickened, something behind the walls moved. The girl, me, grabbed my hand. "You need to wake up before it marks you again." And then everything shattered. Not figuratively, I mean it, like glass. The cabin just broke. Light burst from the seams. I was falling, not through space, through time. I saw flickers of that night again. June's terrified face, Noah bleeding. Eli whispered, "Run." And then I was back. On the forest floor, the ruins around me, old and empty, like it had always been. My phone was in my hand. It was 3:17 a.m. again. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I pulled loose, but I think something remembers me now, and I think it's waiting. And why do I know this? Because I believe it followed me home last night. The night after I found the cabin whole again, after the voicemail, I thought maybe I could sleep it off. Maybe it was all just my mind unraveling. But then I woke up in the middle of the night with a weight on my chest, like someone was sitting there, pressing down, holding me still. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, just stared at the ceiling, heart hammering, eyes wide open. When I finally caught my breath, I noticed something on my nightstand. A single Polaroid, the same one the other me had shown me. The one with the 5th figure, Faceless, standing behind us. Except it wasn't there before. I didn't take it, I swear. And sometimes I swear I hear humming, soft, distant, almost like it's coming from inside the walls of my apartment. I haven't told anyone, not my boyfriend, not my sister. They'd think I'm crazy. Sometimes I wonder if I am. But this isn't just in my head. Last night, I dreamt of the woods again. But this time, I wasn't alone. There was someone with me. Not Eli, or Noah, or June. Someone else. Someone watching, waiting. I woke up with scratches on my arm. Fresh. Red lines, jagged and raw. I don't know if I'm being marked or marked for something. I don't know if I'm losing myself or if whatever lives in those woods is pulling me closer, ready to pull me under. But after everything I felt, heard, and seen, I think it's more than that. I think it's a demon. Something ancient, dark, and relentless. I can't carry this alone anymore. So I did. I called Eli first. His voice on the phone was cautious, almost like he was preparing himself for something bad. When I told him about the humming, the Polaroid, the scratches, his silence said more than words could. He told me he'd seen strange things too. Shadows in his apartment, feelings of being watched. He hasn't slept well in weeks. June was next. She sounded exhausted, but relieved to hear I wasn't alone. She showed me the same scratches on her arms, thin and jagged. Noah was harder to reach, but June convinced him. And when he joined, it was like a missing piece clicked into place. We met at Eli's apartment, our safe space for the moment. The air was thick with fear and old memories none of us dared speak aloud. When I showed them the Polaroid, Eli's eyes went wide. "It's following us," he whispered. We played the recording of the humming for them. It was clear, unmistakable, like something alive, breathing in the walls. That's when we knew this was not going to end on its own. At first, some of them tried to rationalize it. Stress, nightmares, coincidence. But when the scratches appeared on June's arm during our meeting and the temperature dropped sharply, the doubt began to fade. We started researching everything: old folklore, demonology, legends about spirits that prey on grief and fear. The name Wendigo came up again and again, but nothing fit exactly. This was something darker, something that wanted to break us down. Then someone in the comments suggested we get help, an actual priest, someone who understands this kind of darkness. It felt like grasping for a lifeline. I reached out to a priest I found online, Father Matthews, who specialized in exorcisms and spiritual cleansing. He didn't hesitate. He said he'd come, and that we needed to prepare. The night he arrived, the atmosphere in Eli's apartment shifted. The shadows seemed to creep closer, as if aware of what was coming. We sat in a circle, salt on the floor, candles flickering low. Father Matthews carried a small silver cross and a bottle of holy water. He began the ritual with prayers in Latin, his voice steady despite the eerie noises growing louder around us. The humming rose into a shrill scream, rattling the windows. The Polaroid suddenly burst into flames in the center of the circle. I felt something brush my arm, a coldness like death itself, and a low growl filled the room. Father Matthew's voice grew stronger, commanding the presence to leave, to release its hold. For what felt like hours, we stayed locked in that circle, fighting a darkness that seemed to want to consume everything. And then, slowly, the room grew quiet. The coldness lifted. The candles stopped flickering. The demon was gone. At least, for now. I'm not sure it's truly gone. Maybe it's just waiting, watching, biding its time.